What is up, and welcome into the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I'm your host, Ezra McCann, and I'm joined as always by my outstanding co-host. He's a Chicago Public League legend. He's a Simeon legend. He's a Grambling State legend. He played second base for the Tigers back in the day. He was all swag. It's Brandon Williams, a.k.a. Coach Smoke. And we've got the NFL draft enthusiast. It's his time of the year. We're past the combine.
Oh, we were going for analysts now, man. I mean, man, see, it's just racist, man.
I'm sorry. It wasn't in the notes. I'm sorry. He's an NFL draft analyst now.
It's because I like
analyst. That's right. But yeah, it's Glenn Morgan. He's our GM. And man, the sports world just exploded today. Yeah, just wanted to give us some big news, and it's all my fault.
I said it's been exploding for the past couple of days.
Yeah.
It's all my fault. I was on the Super Duper podcast with Rob Griggs, and every time I'm when I'm on there, he asks me, what's going on with the Easy Smoking the GM podcast, what you guys talking about? And so I said, well, I guess we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Carson Wentz, and what's going on with that. And, the Bears haven't done anything yet, and the MLB lockout are not going to be over in no time soon. I don't know how I couldn't get that out. And that was just yesterday. And then today, everything just falls on us. So we'll get started with this. Let's start with the news out of Hallis Hall and the Bears. Khalil Mack has been traded, or reports say that he has been traded to the Los Angeles Chargers. The Bears will get back in return a second-round pick this year, a 6th-round pick in 2023. The Bears are basically out of
Max contract.
Yeah, they're out of the contract. Yeah. So, what do you guys think? Let's start. What do you guys think about the trade?
At first, I was like, "What? A 6th round for next year? Like, that's all you could get from Mac?" Like, I was starting to look at polls, like, "Dude, what is going on with you? Like, what's happening?" I said, "Man, I hope he got some money out the deal." Then later on, when more of the report came through, I was like, "Okay, you get that contract knocked off. I get it, and we're not going to win next year, or maybe not even the year after. So having Mac towards the tail end, I don't know how useful that is towards helping build the team, because there's a lot that we need to contend with, and a lot of rebuilding needs to go on, and kind of flushing out what was there and bringing in some new parts to get this machine going. So it makes sense. I mean, you guys have heard me talk about possibly trading him even last year. I was feeling like, hey, do Mac a favor, put him on a contender, and do us a favor, and let's get something for him. I thought maybe we could have gotten more for him if we traded before the deadline last year, maybe before the injury became more significant. Maybe that might have cost another draft pick, possibly. But hey, I think he made some egg salad with the eggs he was dealt with, and I'm cool with it, because it's about looking going forward. I mean, we had Mac. 2018 was supposed to kind of be that year to do something. We didn't, and then we just wasted him. So I'm happy that Mac has an opportunity to be on a contender, and I think he has a great chance to extend his career to some degree. And granted, it's artificial field out there, but it's one of those newer fields. But he's got Joey Bosa on the other side, man, and that's got to just help tremendously. And they've got a really good offense, so there'll be times where he can actually do what he's paid to do and rush the passer, and not be playing on a team that's always behind like we were, which makes it more difficult for him to pass rush. I think some of his decline over the last year or so to speak, I said that in quotations, air quotations, decline in terms of his numbers, it's just because our offense hasn't been good. And it's hard to pass rush when you're getting double teamed and there's not really a threat of the team, passing the ball, because they're not behind. They're just running it down your throat. So all in all, I'm cool with it.
I'm definitely cool with it. I just got a few rebuttals to some of the stuff that GM was saying. I mean, Yes, he came in, he lit it up year one. But I don't want to say we necessarily wasted him. He was injured every year after that.
Not seriously. And when you got Pagano having him drop back in coverage, come on, bro. That wasn't why we brought him here. He was misused in a lot of instances. And yeah, he wasn't completely healthy, man. But I mean, you look at the Bosa brothers; they haven't been completely healthy either, but they're still getting some significant use because teams are using them the way they're supposed to be utilized. And I think he was misused here. I think to some degree too. I'm not going to just put all on the coaching staff. I think sometimes it's a matter of, okay, how much am I going to put forth here? Because what are we doing here? I think he has now. He may be one of those passive aggressive guys. I mean, he doesn't say a lot. He's not the most quoted Chicago Bear we ever had. Okay, and usually he let his play do the talking. And if his play is doing the talking, I think some of his play was like, I'm disgruntled, I'm unhappy. I'm not gonna say it because that's not how I am, but y'all gonna get what y'all. I'm putting out what I'm getting here. I'm getting some BS, and so I'm not, inclined. So I think it was a little bit of that. I mean, I may be speculating. Clearly, I'm speculating, but I think that was a little bit of that. But I also thought when it seemed like they were going to use him the right way, like last year, I think he was a different kind of energy. I think he was playing fine. Yeah, dude had 6 sacks in 7 games last year. I think if he were healthy, he probably would have had. Clearly, I think he would have had 12 to 14 sacks, if not more. And him and Quinn would have just been wrecking stuff. But once again, our coaching staff, particularly the head coach, just I can't find an acronym. He was just he was a sinking ship, and I'm just glad that situation's changed. So I think it was more than just one thing, but overall, dude, that opportunity we had, I think it kind of went by the wayside. We wasted them, but 2019, they didn't do crap with Trubisky. Comes back the next year and he's worse than he was the year before. In 2020, we spinning wheels. Pandemic doesn't help. And in 2021, all right, new regime, here we go, and same shit, different year.
I actually felt bad for Trubisky when the trade happened. I was all for the trade. I was ecstatic when it happened because it was either us or the Packers. And I didn't want Khalil Mack to go to the Packers. So I was ecstatic for the trade. But what that trade did was bumped up Mitchell Trubisky's timeline on being a success.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that. Joe Burrow.
No. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying that's what it did.
He's second pick in the draft, man. I don't want to hear that.
Listen to me. No. Listen.
I'm angry.
Listen.
Sorry.
Listen. I'm just saying that what it did was, and I'm not saying it was wrong. What it did was it made the Bears a legit Super Bowl contender. They went from having a top 10 to 15 defense to having a top 5 defense. And it was like, okay, it's time right now, now.
Right.
It's time. So I wonder, was it worth the 2 first-round picks that we gave up, though?
Yeah, it should have been. I think if the head coach was all he said he was, I think even if 2018, and I get you, 2018, it sped up things and you're maybe a year ahead of where you're supposed to be, but we regressed each year.
Yes.
And that's the problem. So yeah, retrospectively, of course, it's not worth it retrospectively. But when you look at it, objectively, logistically speaking, where we were, the talent we had on the team, where we had seemed to be trending the first half of the 2018 season, you figure even if you fall a little short, hey, you come back the next year, you build on that. It was like a house of cards, it seemed. It's just like quicksand. It's like we just couldn't get our footing. And that's where the coaching staff, I think, and the administration, the players that, he got to help surround Trubisky. We didn't get another wide receiver that could have possibly helped. We didn't replace Burton at tight end, so we had tight end issues. So that comfortability and that reliability in the middle of the field wasn't there for a quarterback who couldn't read the field well at that time. Again, offensive line woes are we can go ad nauseum about those. So I think there was a failing on the administration part, definitely, and the head coaching staff and some of the players. And so, yeah, it turns out to be, seemed like a good idea at the time. That's how that turned out.
It was a great idea. I remember, man, I was in the car when I heard about the trade. And I almost drove off the road, man. I was pumped up about that, man.
But you know what? For me, times got to change in Chicago. All of our big time free agent acquisitions or trades are always on the defensive side of the ball.
Not always.
And yet,
not always. When we got Jay Cutler, that was a big deal at the time.
That was. It
but
was.
They didn't surround it with nothing.
Can't lie. That was a big
But yeah, that was they tried to make Devin Hester the number one receiver.
Right.
And Johnny Knox. Don't forget him.
Johnny Knox. But yeah,
don't get back to If not for Johnny Knox, we would have won a damn Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I will always think that.
Well, I feel sorry, but dude broke his back playing this game.
Did. I was at that game too.
That's just
man.
He did. But 2011, his running the wrong route caused a Jay Cutler interception and broke Cutler's thumb, and next thing you know, season's over. 7-3 rolling, and then the season was over. Anyway, go on, Smoke. I'm sorry, I cut you.
Oh no, it's okay. But I've been saying it for the past year or so, and we need to move Mack.
Yes,
I've been saying it.
Yeah, with you.
And you know, and a lot of the stuff didn't plan out the way we would have hoped. I think, and this could just be hindsight's 2020, looking at the first round picks the Raiders did get in place of Mack. Those guys are no longer even on the roster over there. But hey, but so I mean, in that instance, it looks like we did the right thing.
I know Ruggs was one of them. Who was the other cat?
The other one was the corner, right? That got released in the season for brandishing weapons online, and it was like an online video or something like that. But overall, like I did when I first saw it, I was like, damn, a second and a sixth.
Right.
I'm like,
and a sixth for next year, not even this year. Like next year.
But next year, I'm like it. I was about to kind of get upset, like, damn, I've been saying we can move Mack, but damn for that. But then I caught myself. I'm like, you know what? It has to be freeing up the money.
Yeah,
it has to be.
We couldn't have snuck a fourth in there too,
though. Well, here's the thing. You talking about fourth for next year?
Somewhere.
I think if it wasn't for the money, I think you might have been able to maybe sneak a fourth in. But you got to keep in mind, 31 years old, and granted, he doesn't have the Liz Frank injury that the potential rookie prospect Derek Stingley Jr. out of LSU has. So it's not a Liz Frank injury, but he's had, like Smoke said earlier, he's had several years of several injuries where he's not played a full season. And statistically, his numbers have been down, and he's again over that magic number 30. So he's on. If nothing, even if he's not on the downside of his career, he's at least plateaued. So you're not going to get an upswing necessarily. You're just going to get really good player. But opposite Joey Bosa, now it's a little bit different. So yeah, I think that plays. And then his contract. I mean, we're asking another team to kind of. Even if they didn't take his full contract, there's still some aspects that they have to contend with throughout the duration of his whatever the specifics of his contract is. The Chargers would still have taken some onus of that, even if it's a matter of just like something like a cap hit if they were to let him go, whatever. So that this way, I think it works out for us. It works out for them where, maybe next year they can cut him and it doesn't count against their cap, stuff like that. So I think the Chargers are one of the most frugal, and by frugal, I mean extremely tight with their money, with their dollars, historically. So the fact that they re-signed Mike Williams. Yep. And then you went ahead and made that move to get Khalil Mack. I think they're sending a clear signal like, hey, you're not just going to ignore us here. I'm not going to be like old girl in Fatal Attraction. I'm not going to be ignored. So So yeah, man. I'm looking forward to. I forget the rest of the NFL. I'm just looking forward to every AFC West game. I just want to watch every single one of those.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting division, man.
It's gonna be good.
With Russ going to the Broncos now.
Yeah, what y'all feel
They're
about
gonna be
that?
set, and man.
How y'all feel about that?
That's a great move. They got a solid defense. They got some receiving help for him over there. Hopefully Jerry Jeudy can
Running backs
stay healthy for him. Yeah, Denver's gonna be all right, man. I think a lot of people are looking past them because of you got Mahomes and the Chiefs, and you got the Chargers with Herbert that they're going to make a climb, and then you still got Carr, but they should.
I want smoke. Are they? I mean,
they should. Coach. You got
Hey.
Mack coming there now. The defense is going to be a lot better. Hopefully, they
okay.
think.
Hopefully.
And Justin Herbert. I mean, man, I want to. Did I win? No, I came in second place in my fantasy league this year with Justin Herbert at the quarterback. So yeah, I'm seeing big things for the Chargers coming up.
Well,
the next couple years.
You got a head coach that coaches like he's playing in my Madden league.
Exactly. Exactly. The Doc Rivers of the NFL.
So yeah, the West, the AFC West is the NFC West too, but the AFC West is going to be it's going to be a good division.
The NFC West ain't nothing.
You crazy?
NFC West?
NFC West is nice. 2 teams.
Well, you know what?
Well, you knock out the Seahawks. The Seahawks are done.
Seahawks are done. Arizona, I'm not a buyer anymore.
Well, Kyler, is Kyler even going to be there? Kyler might be playing baseball.
Exactly.
He ain't going nowhere. Stop.
He. I feel like he got humbled.
Stop that.
And now he like, shoot, I need to get paid because I almost died them last few games of the regular season.
Hey, did y'all see that? Y'all know who Mina Kimes is, right?
Yeah, ESPN,
right?
Yeah,
ESPN, everything, and she writes. She's from Seattle's kind of like her home, but she's a big Seattle Seahawks fan, right? So when Russ got traded, the Cardinals organization like trolled her and sent that you okay? And so she was like, oh really? So she trolled him back. She showed a picture of Kyler Murray in his Oakland Athletics gear, Oakland A's gear, playing baseball. She's like, how you feeling? Send it back. Everybody's like, dang girl, you were wrong. I was like, yeah, don't mess with me.
She won. Dude. Yeah. She's very clever, man. She'll get you. That's one that I wouldn't mess with her. With her.
We talked about Mac, and I will say, I was looking at some CBS like, blockbuster move. I'm like, okay, I don't know about blockbuster. I don't know about a blockbuster move.
He's a Hall of Famer. That is a blockbuster trade.
It's a significant trade. Blockbuster to me means that stuff goes both ways. I don't think anything blockbusterish happened on our end. But anyway, that's just me.
But on their end, they got a future Hall of Famer, former defensive player of the year.
Yes, potentially.
No, he's gonna get there.
He should, but we'll say potentially. He's got to finish out. He ain't there just yet. But yes, I'm with you. He's on that track. He's on the Hall of Fame track, no doubt. Yeah. But so that's that, and we obviously Russ. To me, that's a blockbuster trade. The Russ trade, huge. But what about Carson Wentz going back to the NFC East? How do we feel about that? Like, did the Colts do the right? Like, who are the Colts gonna take now? Like, okay, you got rid of him, but like, who's gonna be your quarterback?
It's interesting. What's the middle linebacker?
Leonard.
Darius Leonard, South Carolina State, HBCU. Shout out to him. As soon as the trade happened, I guess he tweeted out, "Damn, this is 5 quarterbacks in 5 years now. I didn't realize that."
Yes, that's crazy, right?
So he wasn't too happy about it. At least according to his tweet. I don't know, what the team felt about it. But it's interesting. What's interesting is that Frank Reich was Wentz's guy. I mean, this is
right.
Wentz was flourishing in Philly with him, and that's why he brought him to Indy, and he only gave him 1 year. That's interesting to me.
Well, I think it has more to do with his who he is and how his persona is, because his statistics, I mean, he really didn't have a bad year. You consider this is his first year on the team, right? And he missed some time because of COVID situations and his reluctance to take the vaccination. So maybe that might have had something. I don't know. Again, that's a speculation. But he missed some times, and that's developmental time with your guys. But and they were in the fight. I mean, hey, if they don't fall apart the last couple of games, they probably make the playoffs.
They lost to Jacksonville
Jaguars,
in the last game of the season, and that
was embarrassing.
That killed him.
Yeah, and he looked bad doing. He ain't credit when he looked bad. He looked bad, But you overall, you look at his stats. It's like, dude, that's just like you said. It's just 1 year with the talent that's there, and you got an MVP candidate and your running back running behind you. You have a really good offensive line. You got a really good defense. I would think y'all are closer with Wentz than you are without him. And I mean, who are you going to replace him with? Marcus Mariota?
It depends on what you do.
Mitchell
Trubisky. Maybe
Jameis Winston.
They can fix him.
Yeah, okay.
Jimmy G.
Jimmy G makes sense. I'm with you. Jimmy, if he's healthy, he's got that arm surgery. Yeah. So can he throw?
I don't know.
It's interesting to see, man, for them to just and for them to say Reich came out to the owner, like Jim Irsay is the owner or GM.
He's the owner.
Owner, yeah, to the owner, like
Ballard's at GM. Chris Ballard
came out to him, okay, but came out to him like basically like apologizing because he went to bat like for Carson Wentz and it didn't work out. Like that's pretty crazy.
What was it? I don't follow the Colts like that. I watched a couple of episodes of the Hard Knocks in season with them. Was he that bad?
I don't know, but
maybe it's stuff we just don't see. Something. He's on the second, third team. Third
27-7. Yes, he had a bad end of the season.
I mean, outside of the end of the season, I mean, it seemed like he got along with all the guys, and they, for the first part of the year when he was healthy, their offense moved. It's interesting.
He's got a big arm. He makes some throw. He can make some throws.
Weird,
but it's got to be. But you think about it, Philadelphia couldn't get rid of his ass quick enough.
Yeah. And now the Colts. So
man, you know what? Now that I think about it, now granted, I will say he didn't do much to warrant like, no, you don't go look at another QB.
True.
In my opinion.
I agree.
And what we learned from him in Philly, a quarterback competition is not good for him.
Okay.
And so I think they said, you know what? We want to see if we can get another QB. But if we go do that with him on this roster, it's going to cause more trouble than good. And I think that's why they parted ways.
But I get that if you have a guy in place, like you're going to get that guy. And keep in mind, they don't have a first round pick. So it ain't like they drafted a quarterback. And even if they were, the quarterbacks this year are very tepid responses from the quarterbacks that are coming out this year, the ones who are considered first round material. So again, who are you getting that's better than him? I mean, it like you said, Garoppolo, a healthy Garoppolo, I can see it. But even with Garoppolo, you still got to make a trade to get him. He's not a free agent. You know what I'm saying? You got to give Frisco something.
What about Jordan Love?
You still got to make a trade to get him. Though. And then okay, so I mean, you might as well draft somebody. You might as well draft Carson Strong in the second round.
And they saying the Giants is going after Mitch.
Right. That's Mitch. I don't understand that dude.
Mitch about to get paid.
Going to New York?
Going anywhere.
How you gonna pay him to come in as a free agent when you already got a quarterback there?
I mean, don't get me wrong, he's not getting Aaron Rodgers money, but he's gonna make some money. He's about to make some money.
Look, if you're Trubisky, you need to either go to the Steelers or the Colts. And I think the Colts is a better deal because it's a weaker division and their offense is not too dissimilar from the one you learned.
They talk about
here.
the Giants. I don't understand. Why would you want to go there
It's a
and
prime
put
day ball.
yourself? But still, you're gonna put yourself into a competition with
Daniel Jones.
Daniel
But they
Jones.
say
So,
that's what the Giants want to do.
but does
Yeah,
he want to do that though?
right. I'm with you. Yeah, it's like that's like yeah, okay. The Giant. Yeah, that's not a good move for you, Mitch.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, dude. The Colts. Hey, ain't nobody there. Ain't nobody in Indianapolis. And
Yeah.
you go to Pittsburgh. The only guy you really got to beat out is Mason Rudolph. Which if you're the number 2 pick in the draft, that shouldn't be that complicated. But the Colts have a better offensive line. But I
But
think both teams are stacked.
but I asked, what's different than Mason Rudolph to Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones is more athletic. Daniel Jones has actually won games because of his play. Daniel Jones's problem is he's this generation's version of what was the quarterback that was with the Seahawks back in the 80s who was
Jim
always turned
Zorn,
no the
Dave
other one.
Craig.
Yeah, he is Dave Craig. He is this generation's Dave Craig, where he's always turned the ball over. It's like, dude, can you stop fumbling the ball? Can you drop back and not fumble the ball? Like his problem is turnovers. If he doesn't have those turnovers, the Giants probably win a third more of the games that they've lost. Like if they've lost 20 games of turnovers, they probably win at least 7 of those.
That's an
If he doesn't
interesting
have them.
analogy. Remember, Dave Craig was a bear for a little bit.
For a hot moment in a really, really
Yeah.
bad time for the Bears. But
He turned the ball over a lot.
yes, and that's Daniel. That is Daniel Craig. I mean, that's Daniel Jones. Matter of fact, we also call him Daniel Craig, not the actor, not James Bond,
Oh man.
but the dark side, the American version of James Bond, dark side of James Bond. But yeah, Daniel Jones, and that's his issue. But yeah, if I'm Trubisky, dude, you go to the Colts makes way more sense because you go to New York. Not only are you in that competition, but you got the New York media will tear you another one. They will tear you. Like Chicago media will annoy you, but New York and Philly will like destroy you. They will straight come after you. And not only that, but you're in New York and you'll still be compared. You'll be compared to the other quarterback. And if the other quarterback with the Jets, if he starts looking good and you're the worst quarterback in New York, and you signed a big contract, free agent contract to come there, nah, dog, that's a bad move for him. It's a bad look. You go to Indianapolis, you're not gonna get killed by the media. You're in a weak ass division. You have enough insulation with this talent around you, and you have a coaching staff that does a really good job with the players that they have. And not only that, but it's a system that's not too dissimilar from the one you learned at a Nagy, because Nagy and Reich and Peterson, those guys were on Andy Reid's staff at one point in time. So the wordplay shouldn't be too much for you to have to, to adjust to. So to me, that makes the most sense. And then Pittsburgh makes the second most sense. But hey, that's just how I see it.
Hey, real quick, back to the Bears. The new brass talked at the combine, and Ryan Poles was asked what he thought about the current roster, and he only brought up 3 players. He brought up Roquan Smith, he brought up Darnell Mooney, and he brought up Justin Fields. Obviously, that was it. Could you see any other moves coming of some veterans? Robert Quinn, your guy, Bojack, Eddie Jackson, Smoke. anyone like that?
I can
Make
see
it happen.
I can see letting Eddie Jackson go because there's a lot of safeties in this draft, and there are going to be some free agent safeties that are available that you can kind of bring in to help your young safety, whoever it is that you might draft. And if you get some extra picks, like we have 2 second-round picks now, 3rd-round pick, you get another 2nd-round pick and maybe like a 4th-round pick, additional 4th-round pick, or you at this point you want to be able to turn your assets into some the assets you have on a team that is into some draft capital. Exactly. So, and this is if there's a draft to do that, to really build the crux of your team, this is that draft to do that, because it is deep in offensive linemen, it is deep in defensive linemen / edge rushers, it's deep in defensive backs, and it's deep in wide receivers. Pretty much everything a growing healthy team needs, and we need to get our team healthy in terms of the talent that we have. And now there's some top end talent, but we're not obviously going to have that because we're on a 1st-round pick. But let me tell you, man, second round through the fourth round, there's just so much talent there. There'll be some bleed over into the fifth and sixth round guys that probably in another draft could have been, late third rounders, early fourth rounders. So yeah, you get you 3 second round picks. If the Bears can somehow manage to get, say, 7 picks in the first 150, that would be a far cry from what they have going into this up to this moment. And you get 7 players, and let's say you hit on 4 of them or 5 of them that are actually going to contribute. I'm not necessarily saying this year, but within the next 2 to 3 years, where they're like starters or they're strong contributors to your team, and you get another solid draft after that and some free agent acquisitions. Really, in 2 seasons' time, you can completely turn around your organization, especially if Justin Fields is who I think he is. And then now you're competing because, again, the Bears division is not a strong division. And, as mercurial as Aaron Rodgers is, he might be like, you know what? We ain't winning Super Bowl again this year. I'm out. Take my money and run, So Minnesota's in Minnesota. Everybody but Green Bay is in a state of flux. And Green Bay puts itself in a state of flux because they don't know what Aaron's going to do. So, and really, Green Bay is one Aaron Rodgers injury away from being everybody else in the division. So, but yeah, and just right quick, as far as the draft or that combine, there are some cats, dude. There's 2 wide receivers I wouldn't mind the Bears getting. And now that we have 2 second round picks, there's a better opportunity to maybe get those guys, better chance. And it's this cat out of North Dakota State, Christian Watson. I just advise anybody listening to just go look at his YouTube videos. That dude is like a gazelle, man. His spring and bounce. He's 6'4". Dude he ran a 4.36 at the combine. His acceleration is effortless. He's versatile. He runs well with the ball. He breaks tackles. He's not like a physical, like Deebo Samuels type kind of break tackles, but you try to get an arm tackle, he runs through them. He sets up blocks well on reverse runs. He high points the ball when you throw it to him. And one of his best routes to me is his comeback route is just a killer because you're so afraid of his speed. He gets you going back, and then he comes back to the ball so strong. And when he catches it, he either goes left or right. You don't know which way he's going. And if you don't tackle him right then and there, he's gone. He can take it to the house, or it's at least an additional 5 to 10 yards. And it's just like a killer route. And that's an easy route to connect with when you have a young quarterback like Justin Fields. A guy coming back to the ball.
That's how we ran.
Well, he fit perfectly with the team. But I like his size, and that's that height because I like Mooney, but he's 5'11" But you get this cat who's a legit 6'4", and he's about 205 now. He can probably put on another 5 to 7 pounds without losing any speed. Extremely athletic, agile. Just he makes it look easy the way he moves. He really does. And there's also Pierce out of Cincinnati. Got the size and the speed too. Not as fluid as Watson, but he's got that size and speed, and he's another guy who could be the end zone threat.
What's his name again? The kid out of North
Dakota State.
Yeah.
Christian Watson.
6'4", 4.3 40. He's not going to be in the second round.
4.36. Well, no, he will be in the second round because there's just that much talent, bro.
You think so?
Dude, I'm telling you, there's so many wide receivers. You don't have to get one early. That's part of the thing. And you got to keep in mind, someone like Jameson. Here's the thing, dude. If he played at like a Power 5 school, even he played at like Northwestern, he'd probably be first round. Because it's North Dakota State, you know what they're going to say? What's your level of your competition? Who was throwing you the ball? If you're that good, how come you didn't have 1,200 yards receiving? How come you only had, less than 1,000? They're going to be things people are going to poke holes at. And he would
have been a 5th round pick at Northwestern because their offense is shitty.
But if he was a Power 5 school, he would have gone. He probably would go a lot sooner. But you got to look at a guy like Jameson Williams from Alabama who got injured in the championship game. He's still probably going to go first round. And that pushes a guy like Watson down. I don't think Watson's going to get out of second round, but you got all these offensive linemen people need, defensive linemen / edge rushers. Dude, look, trust me. The mock draft I've been doing. I've done 24 mock drafts or 23 mock drafts so far this year. I've had so many guys fall out of my first round into the second round who for weeks I had in the first round just because of how well some people did at the end of the year, how well they did in postseason games and how well they did at the combine. That some people are just moving up and other people are kind of sliding down a little bit through no fault of their own. And some cats still haven't even worked out yet. So that's going to make a difference too. So yeah, I think Watson will be there.
All right. You heard it from the GM. We shall see. Hey, let's move on to the other big news of the day. MLB, the lockout is over. The new CBA has been ratified. We will have 162 baseball games this year.
Yay!
I don't really think we need that, but that's cool.
Hey, for our paychecks, for our viability at the job.
Yay! Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. Yes, we need all 162.
Exactly.
All 162. But yeah, so CBA has been ratified. Free agency is happening right this moment. No big signings as of our recording right now, but there are a lot of free agents out there. And some rule changes in baseball. I want to get you guys' thoughts on that first. The first rule change, which is one I've been hoping for since I was a kid, the universal DH is coming this season. I just despise National League Baseball because I always thought that it was long and boring and games would be drawn out because of double switches.
Well, it goes faster when you strike out the pitcher.
Yeah, but who wants to watch the pitcher hit? Nobody.
Madison Bumgarner is a pretty good hitter, man.
Yeah, that's one.
Yes.
Hey, Maddox was good. Glavine was good. Kerry Wood was good. There's some good headed pitchers out there.
You name one for a couple of generations. That's it.
He caught that, huh?
The rest of them are awful. I just never understood. From the high school level up until AAA, pitchers don't hit. Well, high school level, they can. You can use the DH in other ways, but that's not my point. The DH is there, right? And then all of a sudden, you get to Major League Baseball and one league has it and the other league doesn't. That never made sense to me. Just I don't know. What you guys think?
Yeah, it's pretty silly.
You're a Yankee fan, man. You like big boppers. That's your whole thing. Is like sign an overpriced free agent, Reggie Jackson.
That's false. Because Derek Jeter is my favorite player. So Big Bopper was not his game at all. But I mean, I used to hate, like, especially like World Series. Team go to the National League Park, pitchers got to hit.
Yeah.
Now, like I felt it works for both teams if you keep the DH both games. I feel it's a major advantage for the National League in those instances because they know how to make their switches. They know they have a routine likely in that instance because of it's been their rule all season. Right. Whereas for the American League, it's been strictly DH all year. Now I got to put a pitcher in the box who hasn't been in the box all season long. And, like, what if he swing and F himself up or something? Like, it's, just go to the universal, makes the game better for both conferences, evens it up, makes it more appealing to go to certain destinations, and it's good.
And I don't have to see a pitcher hit. I'm sorry. I never like seeing name a pitcher. There's got to be a pitcher out there that just flails at a pitch. Just doesn't even try.
Yeah, Lance Lynn.
There you go. Don't need it.
Well, I mean, you're talking about a sport where for years, up and I don't know when it changed, for years, it wasn't the best record that got you home field. It was alternated. So
I remember that, yeah.
You could be like what Smoke is saying. You could be that American League team like the Oakland A's and have won like 105 games, but, you on the road, 4 out of 7. And then the team you're playing is I don't know, could be the Cincinnati Reds that barely makes it in there, and you know, and they get games at home. So yeah, I mean, it took them a long time to figure out how to do that. So baseball has always been one of those weird sports where, as progressive as it may try to seem to be, it's really regressive in a lot of unnecessary areas. You know, so hopefully, like you say, this can do something that can make it more exciting for fans. Obviously, it's going to extend some players' careers, which, you know, I don't have a problem with that. But you're right, guys. I mean, you when you look at it, when you just brass tack it and you say, okay, look, man, I got professional hitters and professional pitchers. This is how is I don't need to have an unprofessional person in the box trying to swing. That doesn't make sense. And like you said, as what if you're talking about swinging, but what if the guy coming out of the batter's box, tears his groin or does something, unusual as he's running to the bag and he messes up his calf, or whatever, because he's trying to, because it's not just, it's not just in the batter's box. You get on base, you got to run the bases too, and remember,
can't pull them off the bags.
Right. Think about how different the Cubs situation might have been when they played the Marlins. If not Kerry, what was the other pitcher who was Pryor? If Pryor doesn't run into somebody and get hurt, I don't know if that happened in that series, but I think that season, whatever. I remember
it happened during the season.
Right. I remember Pryor running into somebody and he was out. Why is he even on the base pass? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It can, people like to see hitters hit. And I'm okay with it. I think it's. I mean, why not? I mean, baseball needs to do something. They need to speed up the game too.
Yep.
Well, that's coming because we're gonna have not this season, but in 2023, the pitch clock is coming. I heard I was watching MLB Network today. I guess the pitch clock is going to be 14 seconds for when there's no one on base, and then 19 seconds when there are runners on base. So I actually, my dumb ass, I actually counted. I said, okay, here's the pitch, bam, and then counted it in my head. I was like, you know what? Yeah, that could work.
So not 15 seconds.
No, it's 14 seconds.
What? How do you land on 14?
Hey, I'm not smart enough to know why it was 14, but yeah, it's 14.
I mean,
at 19.
Yeah, okay.
Not 15 and 20. No, it's
right. Like what did you?
I didn't know.
15, 20.
I kind of having a clock for when it's a runner on base.
Yeah,
kind of weird in my eyes.
Yeah, you got
an extra going. 5 seconds, man.
You got to get going. Also, bigger bases. So this is supposed to promote.
Speak to that.
So the bigger bases is supposed to promote more action on the base pass.
More offense?
Yeah, more action.
More base running?
What does that mean?
Stolen bases?
Stolen bases, yes. So basically, I heard Harold Reynolds talking about this today as well on MLB Network. By the way, pretty good watch. He said that basically what's going on right now is that analytics has taken the athlete out of the game, and
I agree.
You have probably the most athletic players in the history of the game are playing right now. So what the bigger base will do, since you have it's larger,
you get a better chance
to steal and to
they get to the bag quicker
because they get to the bag quicker, and so now
the distance is shorter.
Yes. By inches, but those inches add up, right?
So it's no longer 90 feet. It's what, 89?
Look at you.
Yeah,
look at
by
you.
Inches,
well, I'm just trying to get an understanding of this. Like it.
That's what Harold Reynolds said. So
okay, I thought it was a safety issue, not a.
Well, here's the deal. You know what? The safety thing about it, I'm interested to see what the material is going to be, because I've always thought there was a problem that the bases don't give any. So that creates, the jam fingers,
resistance.
The ankle injuries, the knee injuries, that sort of thing. So I'm interested to see that. I saw I don't know, and I could be wrong about this, but there was a picture on ESPN about with the I guess what the base is going to look like, and it looked like it was more of a giving uh material.
This
I
is
don't know.
hilarious to me.
Yeah,
That
but
a bigger base is going to promote more
that's
stolen bags. That isn't. See, they
that's what
just say dumb
that's what
stuff.
he said.
I
I'm just
told
like
you.
I said, I'm just telling you what Harold Reynolds said, man.
The sport does weird things. Every time they take a step forward, they do some stuff that's just unnecessary.
It might work. We'll see.
Okay.
The runners have to run.
Right.
What like?
If they're more athletic now than they were, say, in the 80s when they were still stealing bases, then they should be able to steal bases at the same clip if they
But
just
the thing, but
decide to
analytics
focus
took
on
that out.
stealing bases.
So Billy Bean told us that
Right.
stealing bases does not matter.
So the bag
Yeah.
comes in. So a
A
bag
guy
comes
that-
in, and the bag says it's okay to steal now.
That's
apparently.
my thing. One, Billy Bean telling us anything is crazy.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
never
worse-
won shit. Two, I just don't understand how a bigger base is going. At first, I was about to say, wait, when you was talking, you was saying the base is promoting more base running. What is it like a eject button on the base? But if you're stealing, you got a lead, so it ain't nothing that it ain't like you can get a solid push off to.
But no,
you get
but
the lead.
but you have to admit the inches matter. Inches matter.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Right.
That's what she said.
Those
So-
inches,
so-
those inches
so-
add up.
So the bases are so again, so the bases are they're bigger in width
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yes, in the width,
Sure, with
and
But-
not
not height.
not height.
not height.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I don't-
it's gonna be so they're
Yeah,
gonna be
you're
running
not-
about 80.
You're not gonna be
89.
swimming. You're not gonna be swimming up to the base. No, it's just gonna have a wider diameter, I guess, if that's the right measurement.
So
Yeah.
it'll be about 89 and
No. See, you're measuring at the edge of the base. The where the base is nailed down. That's you start the measurement from there. I don't know that. I'm just trying to, make you.
See, you're just trying to confuse us.
I'm just trying to make you a little less
You're just
annoyed by
trying
the
to-
fact
You're
that
just
you're
trying to
pointing
confuse
out
us.
that the baseball won't be
no,
the perfect design.
but you know what?
measurement.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong because the 90 is at the center of the base.
See,
So
yes.
you're not wrong.
See
You're
now.
not wrong.
He would know.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I started thinking like baseball. Just start thinking a little backwards, and it makes sense to me.
So yeah,
And
so
that actually helped me picture what you were saying initially. That okay, now those quick tags that Javi be knocking down, the runners will be safe now because
Right.
got a little bit more base to touch. Got a little. You're gonna get there. Them quick ones. I'm already on the base now,
Well,
brother.
now actually, Javi can kind of extend himself on that base too. Now, where he stands, he can extend himself a little bit further.
The throw got to be out.
throw
there.
got to be there, right?
Right, but
Yeah.
the base, it may not be extended just on for all four sides. So Javi can be a little bit further forward and meet the pitch, meet the throw sooner. See what I'm saying?
Well, you can do that regardless. He does that anyway.
Right, but I'm saying he'll have a little extra inch now or two forward.
Wouldn't
I'm
it?
just saying, it's still, it can balance itself out. But anyway,
it's gonna be a way to.
All right, and then here's a big one, which is not going to come this season, but in 2023, the
Mhm.
ban of the shift.
100% for it.
So you're not going to have 5 guys on one side of the field, taking away hits.
I don't know.
100% for it.
I'm a defensive-minded person, being a Chicago Bear fan. The defense matters, and I'm like, look, man, I got to use whatever measures I can to keep you from hitting it. All my analytics and statistics, and even my good old-fashioned common sense says that this dude's a pull hitter. Man, move your ass over to the side that he's pulling.
That takes away from the game.
Yeah.
I want to see.
But
I want to see shortstops make great plays. You know, I want to see a second baseman be able to get to the middle of the field and then show off his arm. You know what I'm saying? I want to make some plays like Sandberg.
I'm a manager. Or I want to win.
Or Coach Smoke. You know?
I'm a manager. I want to win, and I want to keep getting paid. So slide a little over to the right.
Well,
if he's pulling.
This is about trying to keep fans.
Exactly, and I'm an owner or in the commissioner. I want people to come to the games.
Right.
I want people to watch the games. The shift takes away hits. Takes away runs.
I see now. Y'all selling out like the NBA sold out.
Hey, man.
No hand checks. No hand checks. Let these guys just go on by.
And the game is thriving right now.
The game was thriving before.
You talk about you talked about us keeping the 162, so our paychecks would be all right. Well, we need those ratings to stay high too. So yeah, I'm all for the banning of the shift, or maybe
just
maybe
like football
not,
sold out.
Maybe,
don't hand check them. Don't hand check at the 5 yards. You can't touch them anymore.
Maybe there's a limit to where you can go. Something like that.
You can't. You're gonna do it or you're not, because baseball players, and I don't mean to be like I'm pointing the finger, but it's just human nature. You give me an inch, I'm gonna take a mile. So if you're not policing, and umpires have enough to do. I mean, it's like that crap last year policing pitchers in terms of checking after every inning or whatever. So if the guys can slide a little left or a little right, but it's 3 feet here or 4 feet there. I mean, who's measuring? Where is that? How are you gonna see that cutoff thing? That's either you can do it or you can't. So I think either one way or the other.
I just completely say get rid of it. And and a lot of people like, man, these the best players in the world. They giving them a free hit by just going the opposite way. Yeah, they are. But you know how bad, how many bats are gonna get broke doing that? You know how bad that's shit. Ain't nobody trying to see that, man.
Right.
Like these are not just the best of the best hitters. These are the best of the best pitchers. They're pitching you into the shift.
Exactly.
So you keep trying to take a 99-mile inside fastball opposite field. Okay. You're going to break a lot of bats. You're going to get some hits, but you're going to break a lot of bats. And that's not appealing to the fan.
Well, let me ask you this.
It's not appealing to the fan.
Let me ask you this. Was the shift something that just came about in the last 10 years? I mean, hasn't that option always been available to baseball managers?
Not like it's being used now.
It's always been available. But it's another concept of analytics.
I'm thinking back. The first time I really saw the shift being played was when Jim Thome got to the White Sox. And I remember that's when I first really noticed that teams were moving guys over in the right field.
So it's become more dramatic over the last 15 years.
Very dramatic. Yeah.
Okay.
Before that, I don't remember. I mean, occasionally you would see some type of shift, but not like at every at bat the way it is now.
I see
for left-handers.
So frequency and intensity of the shift and the frequency.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, going back to the pitching clock, and we can get out of here. But Harold Reynolds brought up another point, saying that with the pitching clock, with the 14-second and 19-second, you're not going to have pitchers that are going to be able to wind up and throw 100 miles an hour every rip because of fatigue. So that's another.
That's interesting.
Interesting factor that's gonna come into this.
Or you might get more injured pitchers.
That's You're not gonna have in a role that's Chapman that's gonna be able to throw 105 mile an hour pitch and then walk around the mound for 40 seconds and then be able to deliver another one.
Or you tell your catcher to get that ball right back to me. Get it back to me fast.
No, nothing.
But no,
I,
that's
the
true.
opposite.
That's
The
true.
opposite. You tell them, don't get it back to me fast. Tell the catcher, take your time.
But it
well,
counts. It
well, that's gonna be the
starts.
question. When does the clock start?
When does the clock start?
Does
I
it?
just gotta
Does it?
imagine it's when he gets in his hand. It's gotta
So
be.
it starts when the pitcher gets the ball back. You think that's when it
Sure.
starts?
Well, think about it. If the ball's in the dirt and then the ump's gonna go ahead and change the ball out, you can't start until it gets into the pitcher's hand.
So it's
I
gonna be
see.
interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how
Yeah,
they're gonna combat that.
you done started. You done spoke to it, opening up Pandora's box. Them catchers about to be taking their precious time.
Damn right.
Getting that ball back to the pitchers.
Exactly.
I got another question. What happens if the batter steps out of the box? Then what happens?
Clock starts over.
Clock starts over.
Yeah.
It should.
So that's going to take
should.
away. That's
Right,
going to
you
take
can't
away the Paul Konerkos of the world that are adjusting their batting gloves before every pitch. So I guess it's going to be a challenge for both.
Or
Or
here's the thing: the pitcher pitches.
You can't get in and you can't do all that. Get in and hold that hand up, trying to get yourself set in the box. If that time clock is winding down, I'm in my wind up.
Yeah, pitcher pitches.
Soon as 2 feet in that box, pitch is coming.
Pitches.
So
I
it might be a lot of quick pitch.
I don't even need 2 feet in there because if it starts, because here's another strategy.
Well, if he's not in the box, the ump is likely going to hold you off. Got to be in the box. Both feet got to be in the box.
Is he?
But both feet got to be in the box. So, but
okay,
I don't know. It's gonna
make for Mark Burley.
It's gonna be
games,
interesting,
man. I think that's what it's going to speed the game up. And as a person that works in the field of sports media, that's going to make for shorter work days. That's a good thing.
Hey, right quick before you get off of baseball, don't forget there's a new draft lottery in baseball now too, for the first 6 picks, and that's supposed to, I guess, kind of limit the tanking that baseball teams seem to do. I don't know if that's going to happen because it's not like it's stopping the NBA at all.
I guess with the new financial parameters, I guess it's supposed to stop teams from, I don't know what type of, it's a limit or whatever, but it's supposed to stop teams from grounding their team salaries. So I don't know if it's like a cap. It's not necessarily a cap.
You're talking about the money part, the luxury tax
part of it. Yeah. Well, the luxury tax has gone up, but I'm saying for the teams at the bottom, your smaller market teams that your Pittsburgh Pirates,
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee spends some money.
Yeah,
they spend money. Tampa Bay, though they
Kansas
compete.
City.
Yeah, they're not going to. The incentive to keep the salaries low is not going to be the same. So I guess that twofold is going to help against the tanking thing. So the Oakland A's, that's a big one.
Yeah, Oakland A's.
That's a big one.
Twins.
Yeah, but they're
really.
they're more like Tampa Bay. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
They compete, but it's because they keep bringing in new talent, and once their guys get to free agency, they let them go.
Yeah, even Detroit's not really big. They might have a player or two, but they're not like New York teams or the LA teams. Even the Cubs at one point, you had some high priced players, but Detroit might have one or two, and then they ain't paying nobody else. So you look at the White Sox division. The White Sox, if they actually spent to the size of their market, would probably dominate the division year in and year out, because they just got a lot of small market teams in their division.
They should.
Yeah.
So free agency has started, and there's a lot of activity in motion. So I guess our next episode, we'll probably be able to talk about some moves that have been made by teams in the free agent market. Season starts April 7th.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, should be fun. Hey, let's move on to our favorite basketball team, the Chicago Bulls. and they had a rough week.
Yeah.
They were on a 5-game losing streak at one part of this week, including losses to the Sixers and the Hawks and the Bucks.
Milwaukee.
And yeah, it was a rough week for our guys. And I guess it was expected. But I was listening to Billy Donovan talk. He brought up a good point, man. He said they haven't been in full strength all season. They're, I guess, what you would call their core, which would be Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, Nikola Vucevic, Pat Williams,
and Caruso.
Caruso. They've only played together in 16 games this entire season.
That's crazy.
Well, you know what? That may eliminate Williams, but Williams was gone after the third game.
On.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. But he said 16. They've only played together 16 times this entire season. So he still doesn't know exactly where they are as a team, and that, I mean, when they play the better teams, that comes out.
Right. Well, they're exactly where they are. I'm not trying to be funny, but they're that 4 through 16, and that's probably where they're going to sit. And they, you talked about how difficult the schedule was. It still is. They still got a lot murderous row of teams coming up. So I don't expect the Bulls to just turn it around, even when these guys. I think Caruso is coming back Sunday. I don't expect these guys to just turn it around all of a sudden. I think if they can, let's say, I don't know what the number is off the top of my head, but let's say of the games remaining, let's say 10 of them are against, top tier teams. If they can win 3 or 4 of those, I would consider that an uptick in what they have been doing. Because it's just difficult, man. It's difficult because now everyone's really all the other teams are really trying to position themselves. So these games are going to be important to everybody, and a lot of teams have gone through what the Bulls have gone through. They've lost their players through either pandemic related situations or injury or what have you. And now they're using this stretch to gel, to kind of figure out how and who they're going to be as the playoffs around the corner. So it's not like the Bulls are going to have any team that just be like, oh, we good, we're in the playoffs. No, everyone's trying to position themselves, and particularly, and that's just why I kind of like the play-in thing. You don't want to fall below 6. You don't want to be that team having to do the play-in stuff. So everyone's going to be playing, particularly the teams that are right where the Bulls are situated, between 4 and 10. All those teams are going to be playing. The Bulls are playing a lot of those teams down the stretch. So it ain't getting any easier.
Yeah, I think they're where initially everyone expected them to be. I understand the frustration of not being able to beat those better teams, but honestly, in my eyes, only teams that really truly have beat us and we were to my liking that we should have competed better were both Miami and Philly. I think, Phoenix, we actually played well. Memphis, the first game we played Memphis, it was literally DeRozan. Vooch played, but DeRozan and nobody else played. It's been a weird year. It's been a weird year. And look, hey, like I told somebody today, yeah, we owe and whatever versus those top 6 teams, but guess what? We keep beating the shit out the other teams. Let's just keep it that way. Shit.
Yeah, but if your big 3 are playing, what we call our big 3, which is DeRozan, LaVine, and Vooch, you should be at least competitive against Miami. You should at least be competitive against Philly. They actually were competitive against Milwaukee. That was actually a really good game.
We were actually competitive against Philly the first couple games.
Well, yeah, except Embiid scored like 90.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
that's
I
just
mean,
that's just been my thought about
honestly,
this.
the only team that really just ran us out the gym both times we played them was Golden State.
Yeah.
They literally just blew us out the win from start to finish. Not even close. Turn those games off at the end of the first quarter and don't watch it anymore. That's the only team that really just blew us out the water, where it was like, why am I still watching this game? Like everyone else, Miami beat us pretty good this last time. They beat us pretty good. It's Philly just have our number. We saw today that Philly is really some chumps. They're really some chumps. Legit chumps in my eyes. But they are a team. Matchups matter. They are a team.
You don't think that was just one bad
Hell
night?
no, because both guys they don't show up in big games, and they didn't show up tonight. Embiid 5 for 17, Harden 3 for 17. Embiid had 27. He made 16 free throws. That's it. That's those guys when the playoffs come. That's Embiid and that's Harden. What we saw today. So I mean, we'll see, but that's what we've seen over the years from them two. Just saying. They have our number. If they play us, I'm willing to bet they sweep us. I'm willing to bet that.
I feel like tonight's the Sixers Nets game, that was an aberration. I think the Nets took things personally with what happened to Ben Simmons in Philly tonight.
Only thing I think what that proved.
Why should they care? I mean, he's their new teammate,
he's their new teammate. The Philly fans followed the man out of his hotel to the arena. They mocked him earlier today.
They went hard.
Man.
They went hard at a guy that wasn't even gonna play. That's their dumb fault. I'm so you know what I realized today. I've been hearing for so many years how those Philly fans, they have such high demands. And you ain't won since '83. Shut the hell up, man. Y'all ain't like come on, man. Clearly, y'all not spooking anybody. Trae Young came in y'all building last year.
I'm not going to a sporting event in Philly with a
fan
with a Chicago jersey on. I'll tell you.
As a fan, yeah, that's pretty smart. But I'm talking about the opponents on the floor.
We're gonna wear neutral colors, baby. Neutral.
Because little Ice Tray went in there and was last year. Like, come on, man. Kawhi went in there, knock him out. It's like I'm tired of hearing about these Philly fans and how they this and they that. Man, how about y'all win something first? Win something. Like, come on, man. Like, but I don't think it was admiration. Me, I don't. What I got from it? Y'all saw the reports that said the real rift between Kyrie and Harden was the fact that Harden kept losing to Kyrie in one-on-ones at practice.
What? That couldn't be.
Yeah, I promise you that came out like a few days after.
What does that even mean?
They said Harden pride was hurt because he couldn't beat Kyrie in one-on-ones, and Kyrie was a part-time player. And I'm like, you know what? After today's game, it made sense. Because have we ever known Kyrie to be a defender?
No.
Have we ever known that?
No.
He guarded Harden all game. And Harden was 3 for 17.
Wow.
Well, he said, man, I can't beat this dude 101. Forget it. I'm out.
He was mad. And he was part-time. He was barely coming. And then when he come, busting my ass. Oh man, I gotta get up out of here. But I digress. Back to the Bulls, man. Back to the Bulls. Hey man, we where we supposed to be, man. Where we supposed to be on top of all the injuries. Cause in retrospect, if you look at it, if every team like, yes, our injuries, we have our injuries, but every team is going through something. Every team has went through something. If all was fair, everyone was healthy, I think the Bulls will be right where they are.
You're right.
Maybe 5 if Brooklyn was healthy.
At the beginning of the season, yeah, you're right. Everybody said this was a 5-6 seed.
Right.
The over. I mean, the over under was set at 42, right?
44.
40. No, I thought it was 42. 44.
I thought it was 44. No, I could be wrong.
42, 44. Yeah. So around that. So I guess you're right. That's where we are right now. But so, I mean, that goalpost, it can move, man. And you want to see them make that step, this year.
But didn't they? But haven't they done that? Didn't they make that step this year? I mean, dude, think about where they came from. They made
what I think.
They made one of them like John Glenn leap on the moon steps, dude. They made a huge ass step from where they were. I mean, I think it gets lost in the shuffle because they were so good, so quick out the gate, and other teams were struggling with their issues, and the Bulls were able to ascend to the upper echelon of the East, and then through force of will and DeRozan's stellar play, able to like maintain and sustain for a while up until late. So now we're like, oh man, these dudes are falling off. I'm like, they have made that step. They literally did do that. And next year they can build on that. I don't know if it was, I think Ez, maybe you and I were talking about it earlier yesterday or so, that these guys, they don't have like that sharpshooter, like that that person that can just stand out there and kick the ball and just nail it down. They need that sniper, so to speak. They have guys that can shoot the three and they will make it, but they don't have that sniper. And they still, I know we got Tristan Thompson, and that's nice, but they still need somebody that has a little more offense than he does, somebody that has some versatility to their game with a little bit more of an upside to make a difference. Because Vooch, as nice as he is, he's a defensive liability, and at times he's an inconsistent offensive player. So that makes a big difference. And Vooch has all these skills. He's a skilled player. He can pass as long as he's not moving. When Vooch is moving, his passing is not very good. But you sum up in a post, you sum up in a high post, you're in the offense room a little bit. He'll find the cutter, he'll find the open person, does a good job with that. But they're missing something. And I think some of it is that outside shooting helps space the floor a little bit more, but also just a scared defense. It's someone that they have to respect. There's no outside sniper they have to respect. They have to respect DeRozan and Levine's athleticism and their ability to be able to get to the cup or get to their spots and score. But, Kobe White might be the closest, sniper that they have on the team.
What
and
he's streaky.
Right, he's streaky.
Before Zoe went down?
Yeah, not a sniper. The Bulls have a lot of guys that can shoot the three, but they don't have like a Dale Curry or that, I'm trying to think of guys who are classic three-point shooters. Even like when the Bulls were winning the championships, you had Steve Kerr. He was that sniper. Craig Hodges. Bulls had like 2 or 3 guys every three-peat. They had like 2 or 3 guys that could do that. Craig Hodges.
Paxson,
Kerr and Trent Tucker and Bushler. I don't know if Bushler was a sniper, but they had Trent Tucker.
I've never heard of Trent Tucker.
Oh, Trent Tucker was nice.
He was nice, dude. He was in the first three-peat.
He was 93. He came.
Yeah, he was
Trent Tucker. I'll give you a little known fact. This happened against the Bulls. Trent Tucker was on the Knicks at the time.
Yep.
And he put up a shot. He put up a 3 to win the game. Under 0.3 of a second to go. And there's no way. And there's no way he could have put that shot up. So the rule now that it has to have 0.3 of a second on the clock. That's 3 cents. 0.3 of a second on the clock. That is the Trent Tucker rule.
Yep. And he got fouled.
Trent Tucker was nice, man.
And the Bulls lost that game.
They did
because of that.
They did. So yeah. I agree. I agree with that. Hey, one question here before we go. Have you guys noticed that Tristan Thompson who's I think has been a good addition, outside of what Embiid did to him. But I mean,
Join
Tristan,
the club.
he's still a solid NBA player, and there's nothing. I mean, there was nothing you could do about that. But have you noticed that he barks a lot on the bench?
Yes.
As a new guy, is that a good thing? Or do you think the players will get sick of that?
I think this team is such a bunch of nice guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's a personality that they don't have, and so I think they're okay with it because it's like that's just Tristan being Tristan.
That's how I look at it. Yeah, that's exactly how I look at it. I think they look at it like that's just Tristan being Tristan. One, he's a champion.
Mm-hmm.
He's been on winning teams. Like, let's be real here. Our key guy has never even smelt the playoffs before.
Yeah,
just Caruso.
And DeRozan.
Well, DeRozan's been far to playoffs.
DeRozan has too.
He got,
I'm mainly speaking on
championships.
Oh yeah, but Caruso, and I'm glad you said Caruso because he's one also
that barks.
But he's not barking. No, Caruso doesn't.
He's not barking. But
Caruso is showing things.
Expressive.
Tristan is on the bench. Yeah, Tristan is on the bench. He looks like he's cussing everybody out. You know what I'm saying? but it's like, dude, you're the new guy. I don't know if that's the right tone right now.
But it's all about the message. We don't know the message.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, because the message what might seem volatile to us is really him saying, "Look, God, like, man, we're better than what we're showing." Like stuff of that nature. More of a motivation factor versus him really getting on him. So it's all about the message.
I will say I did like the fact that when the Bulls played Milwaukee, he was the one that came out and said, "Hey, we're not going to tolerate this. Grayson Allen took our guy out. He's going to pay." That was basically the sentiment of what he said. I really like that because nobody, like you said, Glenn, you got a bunch of nice guys on this team, and nobody was talking that up. He came out, and he's only been on the team for a week and a half and was able to convey that message. The
Even
second,
nobody still did. Man.
Hold on. Io
hip check.
Io missed. Yeah, Io should have fouled him on a fast break.
Yes,
and he didn't. But I think that was just a rookie theme, and he didn't necessarily know. And then Derrick Jones Jr. got him pretty good.
Yeah.
He got him pretty good.
But I agree. I didn't think that was intentional.
No, you just think it was.
I think it was just
incidental.
He still got him.
I honestly don't think he intended to foul him. Like, I don't think he had intent with it. I don't think he saw him coming and was like, this Grayson Allen, it's my opportunity.
Yeah.
I think it could have been worse if he had the intent.
I think he had the intent, but again, I think these guys just don't know how to be that way.
It's a different era. Yeah.
They're just like, okay, I'm gonna try and be slick with it.
It's a different era.
Did I hit you? My bad, dog. Oops.
Hey,
they don't know about Robert Parrish and Bill Cartwright and Charles Oakley and those guys, man.
And Kermit Washington.
And Bill Lambier.
What about Kermit Washington?
Kermit, man, didn't he take out Rudy Tomjanovich?
He did. It was a crime. They should have been arrested for that.
It was a crime.
That was criminality. What he did.
Hey, one last thing though, especially over this losing streak. What are you guys' thoughts on the field on the free throw discrepancies?
That's a good question, man.
Well,
they seem this. It looked like the refs sort of gave him more calls against Detroit the other night.
Right, yeah, because
and
we're
then the second half of the Sixers game.
Yeah, because we were losing.
But yeah, that's an issue. Now I don't know how do you think we drive to the basket enough?
No, I think DeRozan falls away enough, and I think They drive up to a point and they don't continue to the basket. They drive up to a point, and I think they're looking for calls at times and they're not getting them, as opposed to when they played Detroit, you saw them carry all the way through to the basket, especially Levine. He's like, I'm going to keep going to the
Zach,
basket.
A lot of times, Zach cries for calls, but he avoids contact when he does drive for the most part, right?
And that's my thing with Zach. I'm like, Zach is so good at avoiding contact and finishing, that he don't necessarily get fouled. Right. And one thing I noticed, especially with the Sixers, Embiid, especially if you catch him on his back foot, he is going to just let you get that layup. He is not going to contest. He will only contest if he can get a sure block. He is not going to let you get body on him. He moved out the way, because to start the game against the Sixers, Levine drove to the rim like 3 straight times. And B literally walked out the hole. Okay, give it to him. Let's go down on the other end. But I say this because I watched the game today. I watched the Brooklyn game today. Mm-hmm. First 3 possessions of the game, and B was on the floor. No calls made. And B can't touch the floor playing the Bulls. He can trip over his own foot. The whistle is going to blow. They didn't start blowing the whistle until Brooklyn went up to 11. And then Embiid started shooting free throws every possession after that. But now they're in a hole. And I know no one wants to hear. I've said before, I'm a big conspiracy theorist guy. I believe refs can control the game. I'm not saying they're.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Like, I believe they can control the game. And like you said, I said this yesterday. I was on the phone with somebody. I'm saying, damn, the Bulls sure is getting a lot of foul calls in this game. I guess that's just because we're the superior team. We ain't supposed to lose to Detroit. But versus Philly, Milwaukee, Giannis can just, and he does it to a lot of teams.
Right.
Barrel in and do all that stuff. But shit, he fouled out against Phoenix. Like those things I pay attention to. And B got his first foul of the game in the third quarter. How?
Yeah. I can't.
Not even an offensive foul. As much as he moved, as much as he extends his arms, like, come on. Like, it's just, I pay attention to those things, man. And it's like, I get it. That's why I was happy they got their ass beat today. Refs controlled the game and not in their favor.
Coach Conspiracy brings it out. I think we can leave it there, fellas. That'll do it for this edition of the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. We want to thank you for listening. We greatly appreciate it. You can catch our podcast at Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and now on YouTube. Check our YouTube channel out, Easy Smoke and the GM Pod. You can also catch us at hp53productions.com. There you'll find a link to our podcast, as well as the Super Duper podcast hosted by Rob Griggs. And you can catch me on there too. And the Father Good podcast hosted by Marshall Givens and Kenny Stevenson. Yo, Glenn.
Yep.
Please take us out.
Hey, like we always say, we ain't saying we're right. We're just glad that MLB is no longer acting wrongly.
Baseball is back. We'll catch you next week.